Welcome, I'm your host Suzanne Murdoch, and today I'm really excited to be joined by Russell Zatab of Silk Mentoring. Russell is an experienced educator and trainer with an infectious, positive and energetic outlook on life. She's a very diverse background and career, and in 2016 she moved to Spain, and this is where she has developed a conceptual framework called the Silk Mentoring Empowerment Cycle. And this focuses in on aiding the advancement and empowerment of individuals from both a business and a personal perspective. It's an interactive learning methodology working through the processes of action, reflection, consultation and self-study. And it focuses in on personal skills including boundary setting, confidence, authenticity, negotiation, skills that are already tied together to improve our communication style, language and expression. And it helps individuals feel fulfilled and contributes to the betterment of the world. One part of the toolkit that hones in on all of these areas is the concept of nobility. And firsthand, I've worked with Russell over the last year, and it's really transformed and given me an intuitive and different perspective on life. And I've got a good sense of like a power of presence, the learning to tell stories, and it's actually helped me rediscover my identity in different ways as well. So Russell, let's start by talking about nobility. What do you mean by that term, and how does it link into the different elements of the conceptual framework that you work with?
Okay, so nobility is at the core of the conceptual framework, but it does not stand by itself. Nobility stands together with self-awareness. And nobility is the positive perspective of human beings that we are of a higher nature, right? Which means to say that, let's say, within nobility, being an umbrella term, within nobility you have authenticity, you have trustworthiness, you have truthfulness, you have perseverance. So the term nobility is where we hold ourselves to a higher standard so that we can perform better as human beings. Yes. Interestingly, that concept, the concept of nobility, it does not stand by itself. Self-awareness is the application of nobility, because us being self-aware it implies that when we know that this is the kind of human being we can aspire and strive to, then we have to act on it, right?
Yeah.
The self-awareness is not just about sitting down and reflecting and meditating, yes, I am this or that. Self-awareness is, what does that mean? How can I apply it? So this application process enhances us as human beings, because any good quality which remains just in our mind and we don't actually perform it or practice it with other human beings, we don't grow out of it, right? And so nobility we were talking about the concept where it is such a vast idea that if you imagine it in terms of the ocean, right? You're standing on a shore and then you see the ocean and then you're like, oh my God, that's a vast body of water. You put your finger into it, you put it to your mouth and you're like, oh, it's salty. In that taste alone, you understand the entire ocean is salty. You don't have to drink it all in, right? Also with that drop that you have on your finger, you put it under the microscope, you see all the life sustained within that drop, which implies that the ocean is a reflection of that drop, right? And every part of the ocean which touches a shore changes, it adapts the characteristic of that shore, which means this is an analogy for diversity. Every ocean which touches a shore changes, yet it is still the ocean.
Wow.
So nobility is one of those words which, when we use it as human beings, we are on equal footing. If I choose to look at myself, I'm a noble human being and I have the potential to rise and I'm a good person, I can look at you and make myself believe you're a noble human being, you have the potential to rise and grow, right? And it right away changes the dynamic of our conversation. It changes the way we engage with each other. It allows for an equality despite our differences in education, skin color, whatever. financial backgrounds, whatever has divided us as human beings, nobility will allow us to come into a space as equals.
I love that.
With the potential to change and rise, right?
Yeah, and change not just us, but so many other people from a ripple effect. Russell,
Absolutely.
in terms of the program itself, I love the way that the interactiveness and the consultation elements and the putting yourself in different people's shoes, the looking at things from a different perspective. You can really use that both in business, in your personal life, and you can't really separate the two. So it just helps you become more whole, if you like.
Yeah, I think as human beings, we've made our lives really complicated by compartmentalizing a lot of our learning, bringing it into a holistic approach where our work life has to have balance with our home life, has to have balance with our fun life. All of the different lives that we are maintaining, including all of the different social circles we maintain individually, eventually have to be brought together because we cannot sustain it, right? So it is important for us to not just be whole, but to be conscious of how we apply ourselves. So when we think of, for example, action, reflection, consultation, and self-study, this is with whatever part of ourselves we want to grow more, we apply that. That is the action part. For example, I want to be more calm. I have to constantly exercise the state of calmness in my work life and in all of the other lives I have, right? Which I'm trying to bring together. And every time I apply myself, I learn ways of managing myself. In the moment that I'm trying to be calm, I reflect, how is it working for me? How do I modify this? How can I refine this? Yet at the same time, I have the opportunity of deeper reflection, right? Where I can sit down and think, is my calmness helpful to others? When I can verbalize my thoughts fluidly, can somebody else benefit from that? So it's in consideration of other individuals that a deeper reflection is beneficial, right? And then from that, it's my calmness. How do I bring this, the me that is calm, into a space where other people, I can consult with them? So I will come, for example, you and 5 other individuals, let us find solutions, but I'm maintaining this calm state so that I can find sustainable solutions with the rest of yous. Right? And then we get to a point where, okay, there's a lot of literature out there. How do we get all of that or most of that and try to understand it so that this thing that we're trying to achieve, the calmness, is imbued with the knowledge which already exists? Because you don't have to reinvent anything. There is already knowledge which exists. What you have to do is to apply it, right? When you take the action, that is when your growth happens. You take the action, and then the process of refinement is the reflection, consultation, and study. That is where it really refines itself to a point where it becomes more fluid for you, right?
And it has for me personally. It's taken a while, but it's becoming a lot more natural now.
Right.
You know, you still have to constantly think about it, but it comes more easily.
Yeah. You know, it's for myself as well. It is such an active learning engagement. So the active part is, for me, I have to be in the state where I'm always managing what I put into my mind and what I feel, right? Because there's a lot, social media nowadays. It's just free flow. You can have all kinds of information. If you don't manage what you're exposed to, you don't know in which direction to go, right? So for some of us who are trying to really contribute to a certain social change, like, for example, you are working with Hub Newry, where you're providing spaces for human beings to come together and be creative and find sustainable solutions for their businesses, right? And for myself, this drive to really empower people, I cannot even tell you, I dream of it. In my dream state, I'm still, how do I do this? How do I do this? No, but we are engaged in these kinds of social environments, Suzanne. So how do we manage that all of the other sound out there does not make us deviate from our path?
Russell, I could talk about this all day. It's amazing. Where can people find out more about what you do and how to contact you?
So I have a website. It's www.silkmentoring.com. That is my business card, right? I'm also I post also on Instagram and on LinkedIn. So it's at Silk Mentoring or hashtag Silk Mentoring. But on the website, I have a contact number, and then you can reach me there, and we can have a conversation. Because one thing I'm going to tell you already about engaging with me, I don't just give you an assignment and leave you alone.
I know.
Every activity which is developed is individual specific, and if it's with a group, still every individual is considered. And I constantly ask questions and engage. Unless you say, oh, not on Sundays and Saturdays, I engage all the time. So this is how I think an empowering process or a change process happens. It is you're in this state all the time.
Yeah.
And my objective is to help you, or any woman or any man who wants to go through this process with me, get to wherever they want to get to.
Fantastic.
So it's really, really an active engagement.
No, it really is interactive. Yeah. Russell, thank you so much. I love it. I really do love it. I wish you all the best with it, and we shall speak soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.